there's a fair few times I come on here and we have games where we go, could have done this better, could have done that better. Honestly, complete away performance. We'll start with the team first and foremost. A lot stronger than I anticipated from David Moyes, and it did pay off. And in hindsight, I think there was a debate amongst West Ham fans. Do we rotate? Do we stick with our strongest 11 or near on a strongest 11? And I think the latter was definitely the right decision. So impressed. I'll get into the tactics of it, but we'll just run through the game quickly. Obviously, West Ham get that goal through Mikel Antonio. Fantastic pressing, I thought, generally from West Ham tonight at times, pressing in a 4-3-3. I've spoken about how we've gone to a 4-4-2 before out of possession, but having that three put pressure on the Zagreb defenders, it forced them into an error, and Mickey's anticipated it absolutely fantastically, and a very easy tap in from that point of view. Obviously, the game continues, and in the second half, obviously Zagreb had to go and press the issue. They had to press a little bit higher. They played the high line, and so we had to see what West Ham were going to do. Were we going to be compact, sit deep? We do that in our own third. But what I really liked about that goal from Declan Rice, aside from the fact that it was Declan Rice scoring it and showing that he's better on the ball than a lot of people outside West Ham give him credit for, is the fact that midfield were willing to press. They were willing to leave gaps between the defence and the midfield when there was an opportunity for a turnover. So West Ham always had opportunities, whether we were on the front foot, whether they sat back, whether we pushed our fullbacks high, whether we had the decoy run from the fullback. And Declan reads the game so well. He picks it up in midfield. He uses his strength. And this is what we're seeing this season for me with Declan Rice. There's no doubt. You've seen it as well with the passing percentages, how well he can keep the ball. But he's progressing with the ball, and he's composed in the final third, and he gets a goal, and deservedly so. I thought it was absolutely fantastic tonight. Again, it just gets better and better for me. He honestly does. And I really like the decision in the end to play Rice and Souček and the like, because I think that was a game where, again, Zagreb, I thought West Ham managed it fantastically well, not only in terms of personnel. I thought tactically we were absolutely spot on throughout the pitch in the way that we wanted to play. But by playing our strongest team, or one of our strongest team, with a few rotations, it meant that we kept momentum, we kept quality. A lot of the times when Zagreb were breaking in their transitions, West Ham had the ability to make the recovery tackle. And the way that we press at times for a side that isn't press heavy, we see teams that trigger the press, and three of them will go at once. At times, even when Zagreb are trying to progress with the ball, you'll have Declan, Souček pressing. Lanzini obviously got the yellow that he shouldn't have done to regain possession and transition further up the pitch. And that was really important for me. So I think from that point of view, good decision. Let's talk tactics, because I think tactically there were so many positives from tonight. I've spoken about pressing with the front three, a really positive move from David Moyes, forcing errors from them. I thought the energy from the midfield from Declan Rice and Souček was really important for that. Now, where I think West Ham, for me, have shown a real development, because I always look at West Ham on the spectrum of, how are we improving? How Moyes is cultivating this team? How are these players individually improving? The fact that we come up against the low block side, first 30 minutes, they sat incredibly deep in their shape, almost a back five with a double pivot in front. Very hard. And typically, the way that West Ham will look to break that down is pushing the fullbacks forward. But what I loved about this West Ham performance, and I don't know whether it was because of confidence, who we were playing, possibly an addition of Zuma, maybe the strength of our side, the fact that we were playing into Mikel Antonio, and immediately the run of the fullback, particularly Ryan Fredericks, was on. Immediately. Now, normally West Ham wait to get in the final third, keep possession, be conservative, and then Fredericks will push on to break them down and give an overlap. But the fact that West Ham were moving off the ball all the times from the fullback positions, and in particular from the front four positions, when Mickey's coming a little bit deeper to hold the ball up, it caused them nightmares. And to be honest, even when we had the ball among Zuma, Declan Rice, Issa Diop, our attacking midfielders were constantly making runs in beyond, stretching that low block. Brilliant. This is what I want to see. This is the development that West Ham need to do. We've struggled against the side. We've struggled against Crystal Palace to a degree. I know we got 2 goals when they start to sit back and they get compact. We look at Southampton, particularly on Saturday. I think energy played a huge part in it when they were compact. How could West Ham approach that? Varying it up and playing in that way, and the movement off the ball, particularly from the fullbacks. I've got to be honest. I think that's fantastic management tactically. I think it's absolutely spot on. Like I touched on for the second goal, and in particular probably for the majority of the second half, even when there were gaps between the defence and the midfield, the press, the energy, we backed ourselves in that quality. And then when when we're transitioning, you've got 3, 4 players immediately. West Ham aren't doing it so deep anymore. And so you're hurting their high line. These are brilliant things. These are brilliant things that West Ham can take. And you look at Manchester United, again, a different type of game. We won't be pressuring on the front foot. But I like the idea that there is movement off the ball, even from deep line midfield positions. And I think it's something that West Ham definitely needed to add into our game. I've spoken about him a little bit. I could talk about Kurt Zouma and I will. But Fredericks, I've got to give a massive bit of credit to here tonight. I thought defensively spot on. I think he's improved defensively under David Moyes. His recovery pace, I think one time Diop got pushed out a little bit wide, and that is going to happen in games like this when you've got possession. The recovery pace came into its own. He probably needed a little bit more composure going forward, and we do know that. But I think defensively, in terms of his role, and even in particular individually, a lot of what Ryan Fredericks used to do was turn his back on the ball constantly, and he wanted to make it a foot race. Now we're seeing him stand it up. He got a block from Orsic, and even little things like that are important. And of course, offensively, even when he didn't have the composure in the final third, the fact that he's constantly running without the ball is causing them issues, because now they've got a decision to make. Do we go close to him? Do we sit back? And I think West Ham's ability to constantly change the way that we had to play in that game, and you even see in the last 15 minutes or so, controlling the tempo, keeping the ball, pushing the midfielders further up, kept them guessing the whole game. And that's how West Ham were able to control it at points. Zouma, I thought, was magnificent tonight. Not in a sense of he was tested particularly, but he won every single duel that he had. And I think that's a definite upgrade there. And I think he needs to, of course, be incorporated moving forward. Mickey Antonio had a great performance, I thought, in terms of running off the ball. Pressing was really crucial for me. Holding the ball up as well. We know he introduces players. I think the thing with me is we were so good in every aspect that, honestly, when this team develops a little bit more composure, and this isn't even really a criticism, a little bit more composure in the final third, the quality that we have, I think we put that game even more so to bed with a 3-0 or a 4-0. That's how good a performance it was. Now, I know people will say it's Zagreb, but we didn't really know what we were getting into. I know Alex come on the other day and he was talking about, they could play this way and they could play that way. And we saw a bit of both tonight. We saw him play in a compact shape and we saw him press West Ham high. But the fact that we were willing to play through the press, to play differently, to vary our play up from deep, shows an improvement and a development and a confidence. And I like that about tonight. Brilliant tempo on the board. Thought it was fantastic in that sense, keeping the ball moving. Thought Lanzini had a good game as well. We know what he offers when he's picking it up from deep. He's using his body very well. We haven't seen too much of him this season, but again, I like having that type of option, and he is a different type of player in a deep line midfield role, albeit coming in from that 10 and dropping a bit deeper and keeping the ball. So I honestly have next to no complaints at all. Super impressed. I think going to Zagreb, getting that win, the confidence that it will breed, and fair play David Moyes, because I guess it remains to be seen, doesn't it? You play Manchester United on Sunday. Are we going to be leggy? But I think from just look at the Europa League in isolation, that was the right decision to play that team. And I think with the fixtures coming up, I think we've got the Carabao Cup next week. That'll be a game I can see him heavily rotating for. So in that sense, I'm happy he's prioritised the Europa League. I think luckily this team has got legs. I also think resting key players. Bowen only come on for 20 minutes. Soufal had the game off as well. I think that's really important. Know how much of a defensive load I think will happen on Sunday. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. I suppose Vlasic was maybe a bit hot and cold. He's still adapting to the team. Obviously, I was really impressed with him at Southampton, and he offers us something a little bit different in that attacking midfield. But team performance, certain individuals, Zouma, Rice, Fredericks, brilliant. And on we roll. Brilliant. Absolutely. I can't say anything else. That's it. Drop a like if you enjoyed West Ham going on a European tour and doing ever so well. Of course, we've got the Europa League. I think it's the 30th of September. I'm going to that game, so that'll be a bit of a late one. I might try and record it from my hotel. And obviously, we've got Manchester United on Sunday. So you're going to get a match preview probably on Saturday morning. I want to do an All Things West Ham, and we will get that out. I want to get Angus back on. So if he's watching this, come back on Saturday morning, mate, because that time will work for you. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Come on, you Irons. We're all going on a European